Welcome back to the Myth Impressions channel. Thanks for joining us again. It's been a little bit of time. I was working on a project that is not wand related. It's back in the leather shop, and had to go out of town for a week and a half. I really wanted to get this done beforehand, but it didn't work out that way. But I'm back, and it's not quite done yet. But I was really excited about it. I wanted to share with you. This goes along with the using 3D printed patterns and stamps for leatherworking. So this is something I've been trying to figure out for a while. I put a lot of time figuring out how to do this. The thing that I wanted to do was I wanted to emboss belt straps. And for those of you who are not leather workers, you guys in the leatherworking field, you'll understand this. If you've gone and you've tried to price out a machine that does this, they have machines, and it's just basically it's two rollers, and one of them has got the design on it, and you put your belt between there, and it rolls and stamps your strap as it runs through. I checked out most of the mainstream suppliers that carry them. You know, the machines start at around $1,000 or so. I did find some used ones for 500 bucks, but there's a couple of problems with that besides the price. The first problem is that you spend $1,000 on a machine, or even 500 bucks if you can get one used, and then you are stuck with whatever design rolls that are available for that machine. And most of the time you're going to get 4, maybe 7 different design options. They're sold separately from the machine. The one that I looked at, each one of the roller designs was like $200 additional for each design, and most of those designs were very Western in theme, which is not what I do. As you know, if you've seen, I do a lot of geeky stuff. So doing the dragon scale pattern, something like that would be something that I'm interested in, but I'm not interested in cow skulls or, you know, ropes and stuff like that. Some of the designs that are kind of generic, like a basket weave, you know, I mean, they're nice and stuff, but they are very mainstream. You can get those already made, and you know, I like to be a little bit different. So, so your problem is that you're stuck with the designs they got, or just like with the flat stamps that I showed you, you can have custom ones made. I'm pretty sure that you can do this, but you can imagine if the pre-made ones are $200, then getting a custom design made that fits your machine has got to be way more expensive than that. You know, I'm guessing probably $500-600 bucks or more to have something like that made. So by the time, you know, like I say, anywhere from $500 to $1,000 for a machine, 200 bucks for the pre-made rolls, and you know, custom. You get the idea. The more of these deals that you get that are pre-made and everything else, number one, it's the same stuff that everybody else that's doing it is using, and number two, your costs go through the roof. And if you're doing something custom, the worst part about that, if you have a custom stamp made and you end up having a design that's just not very popular because you thought it was great, but they just don't sell, then you're stuck with, you know, a custom machined deal that probably cost you $500-600-700 to have made, that you're not making any money on. So that is, you know, the same problem that you have with having custom made flat stamps is, you know, you pay the money to have the stamps made, and then you're out that if the design is not popular. So going back to the 3D printing part of it, as you know, the flat stamps I did those specifically so I could do designs, have my own designs. They're inexpensive to print. They work very well. Yeah, they're not going to be as durable in the long run as a metal one, but you know, so far I've done dozens of stamps with the flat ones I've had and had no problem. So I turned my attention to how can I do belts with my own designs on them. I wanted to do some belt roller, and I think I've got something that is working really well. It took me a while to get the prototypes and stuff done, and I'm still working on tweaking a couple of the parts, but it's at a state where I think if we zoom in on this, I'm going to show you what I did and see if you're interested in this, because if I can get some interest in this, then I might be able to do some conversion kits, and that way you'll be able to print your own. Printing your own design on this, what I've done is I set it up so that you print your design on a sleeve, and that slides onto the wheel. And the cost on that and materials is about $5. So, you know, even if you get 10 or 15 belts out of it for $5, you can print another one. But I'm not having any of my test ones break on my prototypes yet, and they're working really well. So I think that durability-wise, they're going to last for quite a while. But you're also, for $5, you know, you're out the time it took you to design it, and you're out the $5 in material if the design is not popular. But that's a pittance compared to what it takes to get the custom ones done. So let's zoom in here on this machine. I'll kind of show you where it's at right now, and I'll tell you what else I'm working on, and I hope to get some feedback from you on it. Let's get zoomed in here. Okay, so this is it. This is what the machine is based on. And if you don't recognize this, you're probably not in the metalworking industry. But so this is what I got. This is a tubing roller. This is for bending pipe that you're using when you do metal work. This is for bending pipe. I picked this up at Harbor Freight, $250 for the base machine. Okay. So, and what I've done is I made a conversion kit for this. I don't know if you can see how this works, but basically you've got 3 wheels in here. There's a top wheel and then 2 bottom wheels that are offset, and you crank this down and there's different size rollers in here for different size pipes, and you crank this down, and basically what it does, it bends the pipe, and you turn the crank here and you roll the pipe back and forth through there so you get an even bend. So it comes with these different rollers, which I'm not using. But what I did want is the frame and stuff, okay? So what I've done is I converted this out, and I've got a friend of mine who has a machine shop, and I had him machine me this lower wheel here. And what I did is I placed it, I moved it, the rollers are offset like this. So what I did is I took the rear one and put it in the same slot as this upper wheel, okay? So it's down below here. And then I had to machine this part, and it uses the exact same bearings that come with the machine. Now with your machine you get these different size for pipes and stuff, and they've got bearings in here. So it uses the 2 bearings that come with the machine, okay? And then basically all I did was I designed a part on the top here. This has my design on it, and right now I've got it set up for a 1.5 inch belt, and then I've got this guide that goes on here. So let me just run a test through here so I can show you how it works. And this works just like it, you know, when you're tooling any belt, you're going to get the leather wet. And the part that I'm working on right now is this guide. The guide works pretty well, but I think it needs a higher guide sides on here. So, but this is working pretty well. So we're gonna put the belt in here, and we're gonna start cranking this down right here. This is also a part that when you're doing pipe bending, they just left this so you can put a wrench on here, because you got to put a lot of pressure on there to bend that pipe, depending on what you're bending. I just printed a little handle for this because we don't need nearly that much pressure. So I'm cranking this down so that I just get a solid amount of pressure on there, and then all we do is I'm running this through. And that's it. So the designs that I'm printing on these, I'm getting really good results with the test designs that I printed. I don't know, hopefully this will zoom in where you can kind of see the finished designs on here, so you can see what's going on. And all that I've done here, let me take this apart. This is a different handle. This came with the big crank for doing pipes and stuff, and I thought this was really too big. It'll still work with this fine. I just think that it's too big and bulky and heavy, and you just don't need nearly that much leverage to stamp the leather, okay? So I just made myself a little crank that's smaller, and it works fine. But let me take this apart so I can show you how all this works. And these are just all on pins here that you pull out. So my prototype test guide here, this is made to sit between the two fins on the side here, and this lower piece that fits in there so that it keeps it perfectly centered. Okay, that's important because that's gonna keep the belt centered if you're doing smaller straps. I've got guides set up that'll go from 2 inch to 1.5 inch to 1 1/4 inch down to 1 inch. Technically, you could design anything up to 2 inches on these guides will fit in here, and then you just put the wheel on the top here that fits that. So that's how the guide works. And like I say, I'm kind of tweaking this design a little bit to be a little bit better, but I wanted to show you this. So this piece right here, normally the upper wheel that comes with the machine is set up with these little set screws here. There's 3 of them, and they fit on flat parts on this post, and I'll show you that. For my prototype, I've had to modify this a little bit. We'll take this out here. So if you want to change designs, the only thing that you have to do is take this off. And what I did was that I made 2 little spacer sleeves on here, because so here's the other thing is that the width of this fits perfectly in between on this machined piece. Okay, so that keeps this centered on there as well. This has a little bit of play in it. I made a couple of spacers to go on the sides. Got a little bit of play because this has a little bit of play on it. Okay, but when you crank it down onto these flat pieces here, it stays fixed on that, and that way when you lower it down in there, everything stays centered based on these on the guides on the side of this lower wheel that I've got machined. And so these are set up. You have different size sleeves. My first designs, like the Dragon Scale, it's all the way the full width of it. For doing the belts, it's cheaper to just print a couple of spacers like this, and then all your belts for 1.5 inch, all you have to do is print off the design on here. But as you can see, this has got teeth all the way around it. This is the prototype that I printed here, and all the teeth just line up. The width on the spacers and the belt fits perfectly against the width of this main drive piece here, and that keeps everything centered. So that works great. So here's the thing, guys. This is what I'm trying to do. So this lower piece was a fairly simple thing to have machined. What I'd like to do is get this upper piece machined as well. Right now, I've just got some collars, some shaft collars in here, and so I've designed this to fit the shaft collar. But what I really would like to do is to get this pattern, this tooth pattern, machined onto a piece that has the same 3 set screws that come with the machine. So my proposal is basically a conversion kit. So what you would get would be the lower wheel, the upper wheel with the design, and that fits all the stock parts that come with it. So you'd be using the bearings, the screws, and everything that come with the machine for the other rollers. They would just fit on here already. So basically you're getting 2 parts, okay? And then I would provide the STL files for the ramp. If you want, I can do the STL file for a simple handle. You don't have to have it, but you do need the ramp belt guide. I was kind of trying to decide that. But to have these 2 pieces machined, I'm thinking about doing a Kickstarter. So the whole idea is that this is going to be way cheaper in the long run. So the machine itself is $250. My estimate right now, without having the final designs done for the machine, for the upper machined part, I think if we can get 10 to 12 people interested in this conversion kit, that I can sell the 2 wheels here, have these 2 machined wheels done. I think I can get those under $250. So it'd be less than $500 for the machine and the 2 machined parts that go in it. okay, the two aluminum pieces. Then you would get an STL file for the ramp that you could print yourself, as well as all of the measurements and everything for the sleeves that fit on this that you can print yourself. What I'm also probably going to do is I'll have like 3 designs that are just generic designs, STL designs of like the basket weave and a simple Celtic knot and just a kind of a generic pattern design on it or whatever that comes with it as well. And those you can print yourself, and that way you get an idea of how it's supposed to work and stuff. But with those measurements, so the outside diameter on that printed sleeve is 320 millimeters circumference. That's divisible by 2, by 4, by 5, by 8. So when you're doing your pattern design, you can make different lengths of pattern and then repeat the pattern equally around that circle to get your pattern. You can print it up, go down to a 1 inch with the guides that I'll provide, the patterns for the guides that I'll provide. You can go from 1 inch to 1 1/4 inch to 1 1/2 inch up to 2 inches. And my final goal on that is to have basically a lower like this that's solid. And so you print one of these, and then you print the upper guide for each one. Those would just fit together like that. It stays by friction. So you're just kind of like keeping your fingers on the belt as it goes through while you're cranking it through, and that holds it all together. And that has been working really good for me as far as the test pieces go. So tell me what you think. If I do a Kickstarter for this, obviously my goal is to try to do the Kickstarter around the beginning of the year. So January 2025. If I can get some interest. So it's really important that you comment on this if you're interested. Send me emails. You can catch my email, sales@steampunkedout.com, or the Myth Impressions. You can just message me through that. But if I can get between 10 and 12 people on the minimum side that would be interested in buying a conversion kit, then you go down to Harbor Freight, buy the big pipe bender. Then you get, with the Kickstarter, you would get the conversion kit for this, and it would still be less than $500 is my goal if I can get that many supporters. And you can now print your own belt sleeves, your own designs for your strapping and stuff like that at a fraction of the cost. For me, even if I'm stuck using the 3D printed one that I've used, it's not going to be quite as durable. I'm okay with this just as it is right now. It's done, and it'll work for a long time. The only problem is that as this gear wears out, reprinting this, because it's printed with 100% infill, it takes like 2.5, 3 days to print. So I would much rather have a machined piece of aluminum that I know is going to perfectly fit that drive shaft on the top. And it's going to last a long time, and that way the only thing I ever have to worry about reprinting is the sleeve designs that go on this. So that's my proposal. Let me know what you think. Definitely in the comments, shoot me emails and stuff. If you want more information on how I'm doing this, like I said, when I do the Kickstarter, I'm going to have a much better video that shows all the parts, how it all works. I may even have some different levels. I could conceivably have the guides machined as well. I'd have to get a price on that, and so we may do a couple of levels, like one that's just a base level where you get the drive gear and the lower wheel, and then one where you can get the guide wheel that's also machined. I got a sneaking suspicion that those are going to be kind of expensive to have done as well. And frankly, since there's just not a lot of pressure or anything on them, I'm printing these at 50% infill, and they're working fine for me. So it's not really important to me to have that, but if people wanted that, that's certainly something that I could do. But the best part is that like I said, all the parts that are part of the machine, most of it is stuff that you're going to use, and it comes with 2 sets of bearings. So even if you wear the bearings out on this lower, you have another set of bearings because you're only using 1 instead of 2. Like for the pipe bender, you would need 2. You only need 1 for this. So that's where I'm at on it. I hope you're as excited about this as I am. I know it's going to only be other leather workers that are interested in this, but let me know what you think. Even if you're not a leather worker, if you think it's a cool idea, it's always nice to hear the comments. But definitely, if you're interested in getting a conversion kit for the pipe bender, that's readily available at Harbor Freight for about $250. I think tax is going to vary in your area, but that is going to give, I think, a lot of people the ability to get into doing belt designs on this and having a lot of variety on this and being able to crank them out at a reasonably fast pace so that we can sell them at a decent, more affordable price for people. And this is going to be great for Ren fairs and stuff. With all the ring belts and stuff people are doing at Ren fairs, you can have so many designs: pirate designs, Celtic designs, Norse designs. You can put runes, repeating rune symbols going down the strap. There's just, sky's the limit. What kind of design do you want to put on it? And that's the best part about this. Design your own. So anyways, let me know what you think, and we look forward to seeing you on the next video. Thanks for watching.